Hello everybody, this is Gruesome Fox coming at you with two matches here, and these are both going to be in two different mobile suits. This first match is going to be in the reconnaissance type Acguy, which is the support Thunderbolt Acguy, and the match after this is going to be in the raid Thunderbolt Acguy. And usually I don't do videos formatted like this where I'm covering two different suits in one dedicated video, but since I already made a video on the general not too long ago, I thought it would just be a bit easier to really compile both of these suits into one video, especially since a lot of what I have to say about both of these Acguys is relatively similar, so it really just felt more for the sake of convenience that it would just be better to just talk about both of these suits in one go, and really just to kind of give my brief words on the general when I covered that being the Firepower Type A Acguy. My thoughts on that suit were, I really wasn't too big of a fan of it gameplay-wise. I found it to be a very boring general to play, and also one that I do think needs to be nerfed a little bit, mainly because it's just kind of a nuisance to deal with. Not really to deal with, it's just kind of a nuisance in general. And also just that it's so commonly played at 300 and 350 nowadays. Like, you really don't see much variety with the general type mobile suits anymore. So, really kind of another reason that I feel like the Firepower Acguy needs to be nerfed a bit. But, actually forgot to mention that these two matches, these are going to be the level 2 versions of the respective Acguys. So, both going to be at 350 cost here. And, yeah. So, want to start off with the support type here, since that is the gameplay that I have going on. This is going to be the Recon type Acguy here. And yeah, really do like the support version. I think out of the three Acguys, I think this one has probably been my favorite one to play. Really do like this one. It has some interesting gimmicks with it. You do have the radar gun on the left hand. Pretty much acts like a kind of gives you the camera effect, but really doesn't last too long once that camera deactivates. So, really something to keep in mind there. But you also have to stop to use it. But another thing you also get while using this is that you are able to capture points while you are using it. And even though it's slower than if you were to capture it as a pilot, you don't have to get out of your mobile suits, and you're also still, doing your scans. So, really does act as a benefit there. Now, one of the main things I did, actually right there as well, you also get the resist move with this. So you get the support dodge roll where, you won't react to anything, but you still take damage, but still good if you want to get out of a, combo if somebody's trying to combo you. You do have a little bit that you can, kind of use to get out of it. But the main thing I really wanted to talk about, and this is what I was mentioning when I said that I really wanted to cover the support in the raid in one video, is going to be the primary weapon, the ARM Vulcan gun. Now, this weapon is something that I brought up before in previous videos, I think a few previous videos, and I think live streams as well, and that's that the Vulcan ARM gun that is used by the supports and the raid TB Acguys, I always thought it did too much damage, or at least it always felt that way on the receiving end. But playing both of these suits myself and, really trying the damage numbers against different suits and, just really kind of getting my own experience with it, the damage actually doesn't feel that bad. It's definitely not as bad as the machine gun with the general TB Acguy. That thing just shreds. It shreds a little too much for its cost range, but playing the support and raid Acguys and really, trying the ARM Vulcan gun for myself, it does feel more balanced than I thought it was, and it's an effective stunning weapon as well. That was my main gripe about it. It had really good stun while also doing really good damage, but given that the damage doesn't seem too cruel from the perspective of playing it, just getting a new lens to seeing this weapon in action, yeah, I do think it's not really that much of an issue. Other than that, the beam sabers, I don't have anything special to say about the beam saber since these also share the same primary beam saber. So again, nothing too special to say about that. Really just a standard beam saber weapon there. But the support Acguy, going over the rest of its weapons, you do have the instant stunning missiles, and you also have napalm missiles as well, and you can use both of those while boosting. So, you do have a pretty good kit when it comes to the Recon type here. And, I don't even think I really built this too much for range. I do have the level 4 and level 1 range part on this, but, again, really don't feel like you're doing too much damage with the Vulcan, and it's even less for the raid. Being the raid, you don't have really that much put into your range strength, so even though I think for that as well, I also had a range part on there, but not seeing as much damage with that as you would be with the, again, the general machine gun, really just shredding a little too much for its own good. But other than that, I do think the support Acguy I think it's a really good support. I think this is the only one of the Acguys, the TB ones, that actually got buffed as well, so really something else to keep in mind. I mentioned that in my general Acguy video with this. Really, I'll get more into the details about what I think with the raid one coming up here in a little bit, but really just to kind of close it off with the support here. Again, probably the one that I think is the best of the three, merely out of a gameplay perspective. If you want to go through like damage numbers and the kit, I feel like that still is going to go to the General. Again, the General just has a lot of really good weapons, 2 good weapons for its cost, and also just really good skills for that suit as well. But the support Acguy here does have some interesting gimmicks that make it stand out, so really do like this one. So I guess I'll start taking this time to move to the raid version of the TB Acguy now, which will be coming up in the next match here. But the raid Acguy, that one's another very interesting one, and, well, you do have the gel. That's going to be the first thing I bring up. The gel, I'm not the biggest fan of. There's been times I've been able to get it to work, and times where I couldn't get it to work. So the gel is kind of its own thing there, and actually, before we really get to the raid one, we are moving to the last few seconds of the match here. So really going to let this match play out, and we'll see the results for the support Acguy, because I do want to try to keep some consistency with this video here. So if you want to like go to the, if you want to look at the support or the raid one, I tend to leave timestamps in this video. So if you want to just look at a specific one, rather just kind of keep it that to be a little bit more organized for the viewers here. But probably not going to be able to do much in these last few seconds here. Probably get some last damage against the Slife Rail there, which, similar to the Yonfyaven, actually had its name altered. So, interesting thing there. But mission completed for the Acguy Recon type here. Let's see how we did. Top in individual, gonna send a few praises around the team. And first place with 10 kills and 2 loss, not too bad there. And that's going to be it for the support Acguy match there, and that's going to take us to the one with the raid. Really, I'm just going to call it the Acguy TB, because I can't really call it the raid Acguy, because the regular Acguy is also a raid, so really can't do that option. But the Acguy TB here, now we are on the raid one. I'll go back to what I was saying about the gel. The gel is very interesting, and I kind of like it and kind of don't. It really does feel like a very situational item. Basically, what it does is that it makes you very slidey, and also it increases your defense by the looks of it as well. But as you'll see here, I'm going to be sliding around, which could be good depending on how you use your melee, but it's really just a matter of how you hold the joystick, really. So you can kind of get it to get a little bit of distance covered, but other than that, not really too big on it. I don't even know how much I use the gel here. Oh, yes, I have a dodge roll with this Acguy as well, but nothing too special to say about the primary range and melee weapon. As I mentioned with the support one, they are the exact same weapons, so really just going to move to the sub-weapons that you get with the raid Acguy here, and again, you get those head missiles that are going to be a instant stun, And then you have a second pair of beam sabers. These are going to come out of both of your arms. And yeah, really basic kit here for the raid. And yeah, this is probably the hardest one for me to really make a decision on. With the general and the support, I feel pretty clear on like how I feel about them as a whole. The raid, though, admittedly, and this is something I think I've heard before as well, the raid admittedly feels almost underpowered in some cases. Like when you compare them to the general and the support, I feel like both of those versions of the TB Acguy just have way more going for them that make them viable. And, viable is not really the right word either, because I do think the Raid Acguy, I can't get the Raid Acguy, the Acguy TB, I feel like the Acguy TB, it can do decently well, as, in this match here, I think my results were pretty good, for here, on Underground Base, so, yeah, I mean, the results were pretty good, but again, it really just seems like it's a bit lacking in terms of what the other two options are. And especially when it comes to 300 and 350 as well. These costs, you have the Makuve's Goof, which is still a very popular raid pick. So, yeah, I feel like the Makuve's Goof is probably a better pick above the Raid Acguy here. Unless you want something that does have some aquatic skills. That's why with this map here, you do have those underwater segments. And being the an Acguy, you do have some benefits for, really you have all the underwater benefits really, so like aquatic mobile shooting for your primary, and things like that, which is something I forgot to mention with the supports as well. You do have the ability to use the Arm Vulcan while boosting underwater, and that is going to be really good, because that means, depending on if you are the actually, I think it might apply to the... Actually, no, it doesn't apply to the general, because I think the missiles attached to the arm gun, I don't think you can use those while boosting. But when it comes to the raid and the support Acguys, that does mean you can use all of their weapons while boosting if you are underwater. So that's another, really good pro for both of these suits here. But, really just kind of overall, I'd probably put the raid as my second favorite. Despite the weaknesses I'm listing off with it, I do still think it's a pretty decent raid for what it is. I don't know if I've played the 300 cost version of this, though. Admittedly, I have less matches with the raid one than the support and the general. Most of my matches do come from 350, since that is the version that I had of this suit first. I think that actually goes for all of the TB Acguys. There was a lot of them I was just getting the level 2s before the level 1s, and 350 has been popping up a lot more recently as well, so really just haven't had a whole lot of opportunities to play the 300 cost versions of these suits either. But yep, you can see a downswing against the Gotcha there. Did a little over 2,000 damage, which Gotcha is a suit that I don't think I've seen in quite a while, so it's pretty cool to see one, in this match here. But yeah, there's also a gun cannon on the enemy team. That is something that hopefully I try to go after a bit more in this match, just so we can get some more clear damage numbers to see what the Raid Acguy can do to a support mobile suit. But spawning in right now, actually I might be able to try to get some hits with the missiles, or the Vulcans, so probably try to get some Vulcan damage in, almost 200 with the Vulcans against a support. Again, doesn't really feel as much damage compared to, other mobile suits. In that case, it was, firing against a support. So, being a raid, you are going to do a bit more damage, but looks like it's going to be 128 to whatever I'm firing at here. Oh, that looks like that's actually going to be a Dozel, Zabi Zaku. Which, again, another case of just has low ballistic defense, but really trying to find something here to test out some damage numbers on. And looks like we do have... Yeah, I'm doing 78 to 148 against something that might be a Doug Schneid Ifrit, by the looks of it. Actually, no, looks like I might have a sword, but Yeah, trying to, actually it might be the Dark Shiny Fleet. Actually, that might be the Almazaku. There's too many raids in this game that just use very similar weapons and looks, so, getting confused trying to figure out what that is. Because if it did have the Heat Lance or the Heat Sword, it could also have been a Almazaku, which is another really good raid. Probably one that I would pick over the TB Acguy as well. But, yeah, again, for everything, it kind of sounds like I'm talking down to the TB Acguy here. Again, in a sense, I kind of am. I do feel like the suit could maybe go for some minor buffing. I don't know what they could really do with it, though, because, I don't know what you can do that would make it, I don't know. Maybe the only thing I could think about is maybe for the gel, maybe improve the control a little bit. It was probably intentional for it to, be a bit harder to control just so it had some form of balancing to it, but again, the gel is really the thing that I feel like it's a little bit just hard to control. It could just be a skill issue on my end, though, but, yeah, overall, I think the TB Acguy, the raid, I do still think it's pretty decent. I'd probably put it in the middle. If I had a tier list, I'd put it in the middle for, like, 300 to 350 raids. But, yeah, match is going to be coming to an end here, so really just kind of give my, closing for the video here. Yeah, if it wasn't obvious, yeah, I do prefer these two Acguys compared to the General. The General, again, the General is just way overused and just has a little too much. So, just some minor buffs to the General is the only thing I really want to ask for at this point for 300, 350, but hey, mission completed, and we'll see how we did here with the Raid TB Acguy. And second place with 5 kills and 3 loss. Third place in damage, so not too shabby there. I guess that could probably be another thing I would want to ask for. Maybe a bit more melee damage for the Raid Acguy. I do feel like its melee is a tad lacking. Because, maybe because I was fighting against the Slife Rail that the pilot hadn't gone to yet. I really didn't feel like I was doing a whole lot of damage. But, that is a Slife Rail that might have really good melee defense, and also could be also a melee build on there as well. So, could be some other aspects playing into that I'm not, able to see. But, yeah, I do think both of these Acguys, again, pretty good suits for their cost. Really would want to try these more 300 if those rooms do become available. I really just haven't been playing those at that cost, because I am still trying to get a good match with the Dozel Zaku there. So, really want to try to get a video on that suit as well in the future. But for these two here with the 350 Acguys, I can confidently say at 350, just, talk about the Acguys, confidently talk about those a bit more than I can at 300, but, yeah, that's probably going to be it for this video here. Basic summary, support and raid, pretty fun, general, boo, boring, stinky. So, yeah, comment down below what you think about either the supports and raid Thunderbolt Acguys. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and with that, I will see you all in the next one. Later.